Hi everyone, this is Jody from jolouis.com, and today I have an alcohol ink window card to share with you today. So to begin with, I'm going to create my alcohol ink piece, and I'm starting out with a piece of acetate that measures 4 1/8 of an inch by 3 inches. And you'll see why I chose this size in a little bit. But I'm starting out by using the Tim Holtz alcohol blending solution, and I'm just adding a few drops to the acetate, and then I'm using 3 colors of alcohol inks, the pool turquoise and sailboat blue colors, and I'm just dropping them all over in a random pattern. And here you see me just zooming in. And once I've added that, it didn't really spread as much as I'd liked it to, so I just came in with an old paintbrush to blend my color around a little bit. So here I am just blending it out a little bit, and I'm actually quite happy with how that looked, but I can't leave it alone, of course. So I come in again with the blending solution and add a few drops. Then I come back in again with my 3 colors of alcohol inks, and I'm dropping ink in the same place where I added in the blending solution. And once I have done that, I'm now going to leave it alone and I'm going to let it dry. So we will continue to work on the rest of the card while this piece dries. Next, I want to show you how I'm creating the bifold part of this card. So what I've done is I have cut and scored 2 standard size card bases that are side folding. So they're 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches each. And with the first card, I'm going to cut a window out of it using the Simon Says stamp stitched rectangles dies. And I'm using the 3rd largest one for this, and I'm just going to tape it down using my washi tape, and I'm going to run it through my Big Shot machine, making sure that I have the card open so it doesn't leave an impression on the inside of my card. So now that I've cut my window out of my card, I'm just removing the piece from the middle, and I can use that for another card. Now with another piece of card stock, I'm just going to take the 2nd largest and the 3rd largest stitched rectangle dies, and I'm going to create a frame. It doesn't matter where you put it in your card stock unless you want to use the piece again for something else. So here I am just removing my pieces, and I'll save the other pieces for another project, but I'm going to use the frame. And that's what is going to hide my acetate piece once we eventually stick it down. Now I'm going to work on the next card. So what I'm doing here is just marking which part I need to be facing upwards, and this is where I'm going to cut out some waves from the Lawn Fawn Ocean Wave Borders dies. And I'm just going to use some washi tape again to hold this in place, and I'm going to run this through my die cut machine. Now I did, before running it through my die cut machine, make sure that you wouldn't be able to see the waves when the whole card was shut. So now I'm just making some pencil marks on my wave piece. So this is to show me what I will actually see once I open my window piece. And this is where I'm going to stamp my fish scene. Now I'm using stamps from the Hero Arts Color Layering Goldfish stamp set. And I'm just taking the base layer of both of the fish, and I'm using my Misty stamping tool to pick them up with. And I'm going to stamp the larger fish in the Orange Twist ink by Catherine Pooler, and the smaller fish in Tiki Torch ink by Catherine Pooler. And once I have stamped them down and I'm happy with it, I'm next going to line up my second layer of both fish and just line them up, and then I will ink them up using my next layer of ink. So for the larger fish, I am using the Catherine Pooler Tutti Frutti ink, and for the smaller fish I'm using the Catherine Pooler Orange Twist ink. Now that I've stamped those fish down, I am next going to stamp the little eye and gill and mouth details using Catherine Pooler's Icing on the Cake ink, which is a really nice chocolate brown coloured ink. Next I'm taking some Inkadinkado stamping mask paper, which I've already cut out using the same fish because I want to create a mask to be able to stamp some of the reeds. So I'm just laying the reeds down in a placement that I like, and I'm taking some Catherine Pooler ink in Garden Party and stamping those down. Then I'm choosing some more reeds and then stamping in Catherine Pooler Lime Ricky ink. And then once I've stamped those down, I take some more reeds in a design that I like, and I'm taking the Catherine Pooler Grass Skirt ink and inking those up, stamping them down using my MISTI. And then I'm going to remove the masks and reveal my fish to be in front of the reeds. Now I made a bit of a boo-boo with my ink. I smeared it a little bit, and so I tried to remove it using my sand eraser, but it didn't really work. So now I'm taking my Catherine Pooler ink in Icing on the Cake and stamping the little pebbles at the bottom of my card. And I actually really like how this turned out. It sort of grounded all my images. Then using the Catherine Pooler ink in Fiesta Blue, I'm stamping some of the little bubbles just to finish off my piece. While I'm on a roll with my stamping, I'm just going to stamp some more reeds onto another piece of cardstock, because I want to use some of these reeds for my front piece of my card. And I'm just going to fussy cut these out because I don't have the coordinating dies for these, but they're fairly easy to cut out, so I was happy to do that. Now it's time to adhere my alcohol ink piece to the front of my card. So I'm taking some really strong Be Creative tape in the 1/4 of an inch width size, and I'm just running that all the way around the outside of my cutout window here. And then I'm going to adhere my alcohol ink piece, and then I'm going to cover it with the frame that I created. So once I glue down the alcohol ink piece, I then add the Be Creative tape to the frame also, remove the backing paper, and then adhere it to my card. And I just lined up the inside edge with the inside edge that you can see through on the base of the card. Something that you don't see me doing on camera is actually lining up my stamped fish design underneath the window with the alcohol ink on it, and arranging the alcohol ink piece in different ways to check which way I liked the best for my finished design. Now I need to add the fish stamped card to the window card to make this a bifold card. So I'm adding glue to the inside of the stamped fish design. So this is the panel that has no stamping on it, and I'm using some Tombow Mono Multi Glue, and then I'm adhering that to my window panel. And now we have the bifold feature of our card. To finish off the front of my card, I'm taking the fussy cut reeds that I completed before, and I'm just adhering them to the sides of both edges of the frame using some Tombow Mono multi-glue. And I'm just arranging these in a way that I think looks pleasing to the eye. I'm doing 3 on the left hand side, and I'm going to adhere 2 on the right hand side. I do this because groupings always look really good when there is an odd number. I don't know why, but it is actually more pleasing to the eye. Next, we need to add the sentiment. For the sentiment, I actually tried out a few different options, one of them being a heat embossed sentiment on a separate piece of card that I was going to add to the front, but it didn't quite look right. So in the end, I came up with this option, and I'm stamping the Just Keep Swimming design from the Hero Arts color layering goldfish set, and I'm using some StazOn jet black ink. And the reason I'm using this particular ink is because it is permanent when stamped on things like acetate, and that is exactly what we want. So I've just mounted my stamp onto an acrylic block, and I'm going to line it up and stamp it down. Now, this didn't stamp very well, and I wish I had used my MISTI. So I actually did go in off camera using my MISTI, and I lined up my image directly over the top of this and stamped it again using the same StazOn jet black ink. To finish my card, I'm going to add some Nuvo crystal drops in the Morning Dew color, which is completely clear. And I'm just adding some drops where I can see my stamped bubbles on the underneath image. And this completes my card for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to see all of my future projects. For more details, including a supplies list and more pictures, please head over to my blog, which is listed in the description below this video. Have a great day. Bye.